how much we try, we will never, ever stop comparing ourselves with others. That green little monster sitting on your shoulder, screaming all those insecurities, will show you no mercy and will devour you whole. Sound familiar? So, how do you get rid of that pesky little creature? I regret to inform you that you are suffering from compare and despair syndrome. But despair not, cause there is a treatment, but no cure. Cause it is in our nature to obsessively compare our lives, our achievements, our failures with those out there. Why? Because we want to prove to ourselves and others
that we are better.
Social media being the #1 example. So are you fed up with this shit? Do you want to get out of this compare and despair effect? Here's a few tips. First, learn to be different, not better. Don't get me wrong, I'm not immune to the compare and despair effect. If you're watching this right now, you will see that I'm a small YouTuber with only 60 subscribers, and I'm here wanting to make a difference. And it's like, Olympia, yeah, you and a million others out there, right? But instead of comparing and despairing about that and seeing how many views this other person has or how many subscribers and being envious of how articulate they are and how fast they can talk, I'm thinking, what makes me different? So I like to do what I call the harsh truth time, which means I'm giving you the harsh truth about situation. I've never sugarcoated things, and it has cost me a lot of relationships and friendships. But I feel like by giving you the harsh truth, I can give you guys perspectives, ideas, and in the end, make you guys be your best version of yourself. And I said your, because at the end of the day, who am I to tell you what the best version of yourself is? You guys don't even know me. I'm just a small YouTuber, and you are watching me from your screen right now. And I know that there are people out there that I feel are doing a better job. But like I said, instead of focusing on how they're doing a better job or why they're doing a better job, I'm thinking, what can I do to get to that level, let's say? 2, learn to love your passion, not your ego. Because harsh truth time, people will first pinpoint your flaws, and then they will see the amazing person you are beneath. And you get to choose which flaws you want to flaunt. Flaunt flaws. I like that. And at the end of the day, the only person you should be comparing yourself is yourself. How were you yesterday? How are you compared to yourself a year ago? Now, what is the ultimate comparison? Social media. It's no surprise that Time magazine coined the term compare and despair during the social media boom, because that is the ultimate platform where you guys can show who you are and you can filter, handpick those moments that highlight your life. And if you're smart enough, you know that these moments that you're looking at are the highlight reels of that person's life. But no matter how much you come to terms with that idea, there's always going to be moments where you're feeling down and you're kind of feeling that your life is the blooper section. Now, if you're someone like me who is pretty new to Instagram, if you guys look at my Instagram right now, I don't even have 200 followers. I don't have 100 posts. I envy people that can take really good stories. So I read this thing that really resonated with me, and that is treat your feed as a house party. Now, I've never thrown a house party. I've heard they're pretty fun, but I guess at a house party you have your close friends, your acquaintances, and if you're a big Instagrammer, you're the person that says bring your friends along. So suddenly you have this huge ass party and you hardly know anyone. So kind of treat your feed like that. Go through your feed and be like, oh, this is my close friend. Like, and then when you see someone else's photo that you don't really know that well, be like, that's a good photo. I don't know your life, I don't know how you're doing, but like, think about it. What you're looking at is literally the filtered, hand-picked best moments of their life. I started my Instagram with close friends. I would actually unfollow people because I could not get into the mentality of following someone that I didn't know. But the more I immersed myself in the Instagram world, the more I saw the dirty and comparison side of Instagram.
The dark side.
And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm not immune to the compare and despair effect. I will look at people's Instagram photos and I'm thinking, why can't I have like 100 pictures where I'm so beautiful I can't even recognize myself? Or holding a birthday cake in 20 different stories from like 20 different angles. I never got that, but the more I immersed myself in Instagram, the more I saw how competitive and how much you can despair over this comparison. So like I said, treat your feed as a house party. Which brings me to my third or fourth point. I kind of lost count here, I'm not gonna lie. Stop chasing perfection. And for the love of God, stop chasing fairy tales. Now, it is almost embedded in our genetic makeup as girls to look up to these fairy tales. And Instagram, Pinterest, I can never pronounce it, YouTube, all these things kind of reinforce this perfection out there. But guys, have you actually heard fairy tales? Have you actually literally watched the fairy tale? You got a princess, right? She's 16, she falls in love, and the fairy tale ends, they lived happily ever after. The end? Seriously? At 20? Do you honestly want to tell me at 20 that you want to live happily ever after? No fights? No makeup sex? I mean, come on guys, like that is not a fairy tale. That is the most boring thing I've heard. And if you are perfect, by the way, I have no reason to carry a conversation with you. I have nothing to relate to because we don't relate to our perfections. We relate to our flaws. Their perfections actually annoy us. They make us more self-conscious. So why the hell would you want to be perfect? Which brings me to my fourth point. Admit that you're jealous. So there's this conception, right? You've probably heard of it, that geniuses talk to themselves. It is a cognitive effect. There's a neurological effect on the brain when we take a thought and articulate it into a verbal manner. And not only picking those words and articulating them, the fact that we hear what we're saying can actually be a revelation. And also it can give us some perspective. So admitting that you're jealous is a very liberating feeling. Now, I'm a very jealous person. I compare obsessively. And I've been trying to stop that by admitting to not only me, but let's say to my friends, my boyfriend, that I am jealous. Another thing that I'm jealous about is people that actually know how to put on makeup. I find it art. That know how to contour without looking like they got slapped by a traffic cone or something. Another thing that I read that really resonated is that we need to stop looking around and start looking up. And not only looking up at ourselves and our achievements and how good we are and what kind of person we are, but most importantly, start looking up to others and identifying what it is that makes us jealous about them. For example, like I said, I'm jealous of people that can talk 1,000 miles per hour and can articulate perfectly. But instead of making me despair about that fact, I'm going to try to find a way and take that trait and not incorporate it. Now this is really important. You don't take something that you're jealous about and incorporate it to yourself. You customize it so it can fit how you would express it, how you need it. And lastly, accept that there are things that you can't do, at least presently. Now, I don't know how to take Instagrammable pictures. Check out my Instagram and you'll see. I don't know how to look skinny in pictures. I have no freaking idea what my best angle is. And maybe I'll never get to that point. But things like, for example, speaking better, being able to say that I'm jealous, these things, you can transform your despair that has originated from comparison into actions. And the more you admit your feelings, the less likely you are to act upon them. And lastly, this is not an idea actually. This is literally something that I think everyone, actually I think it's everyone. What do we love to compare? Money. Is that person making more money than I am? So they say that money can't buy happiness, right? Well, according to a study done by 3 psychologists, they found that money may not be able to buy happiness. However, it can buy your emotional well-being, meaning that you can afford that trip, let's say, where you can relax, or that spa day. However, a little glitch in the human brain. Their happiness, their degree of happiness, was directly correlated to whether or not they made more money than their peers. Now, let me explain this because I actually didn't understand this in the beginning. If you have $100 in your bank and I come over and say, I have $1,000, you will immediately, one of your first reactions will be like, oh shit, like she could go on a better trip than I can or something, I don't know. And on my side, I will feel happier compared to you because I have more money. Now this is the ugly truth. This happens. This is in our human nature. No matter how much we want to deny it, we gain satisfaction. I mean, we feel guilty about it, obviously, but we gain satisfaction when we know that our situation is better than someone else's. But going back to my example, if another person came into our group and said, I have 10 grand, immediately my happiness will cease. And then suddenly I will be unhappy because there is someone else making more money. So I know I've rambled on and this is something that I've been trying to change with myself, but I'm just going to give you I'm just going to give you everything I just said in 5 sentences. 1, learn to be different, not better. 2, stop chasing perfection and fairy tales. 3, learn to love your passion, not your ego. 4, treat your Instagram feed like a house party. Stop looking around and start looking up, even if that means looking up to others. That is not bad. Admit to your negative feelings. Admit that you're jealous. Admit why you were comparing this person to yourself. And lastly, accept that there are certain things that you can't do. Now, let me know from this big list that I've given if any of this helped you. If you like what I'm saying, don't forget, subscribe to that channel. Give me a thumbs up, only if you liked what I'm saying, no pressure. Ring that bell so you guys can see when I'm making new videos, and that's it, folks.